Picture this. I'm pulling into the driveway of my new place in Cedar Ridge, Colorado. My old pickup still coughing diesel from a 1,200-mile haul. And before I can even kill the engine, this woman in a blinding pink tracksuit struts up, heels clicking like she's auditioning for a courtroom drama, and slaps a $500 fine on my windshield like it's a parking ticket from hell. She's Brenda Kensington, the HOA president of Cedar Ridge Estates, and she's got a stack of violation notices thicker than a diner menu. Calling out my truck, my aunt's old rose bushes, even the chipped paint on my mailbox, apparently. I'm disrupting the visual serenity of her perfect little kingdom. But here's the kicker. Brenda doesn't know I'm not just some broke drifter. She's got no clue I own the house she's renting. And I've spent 20 years managing properties, sniffing out scams like hers before breakfast. Let me rewind a bit. 3 months ago, I was in Albuquerque, running commercial properties for a company that decided I was redundant. After 2 decades of keeping their books in the black, gave me a cardboard box and a security guard to walk me out. Then my ex-wife picked that exact moment to keep our house and shack up with some guy named Starlight who sells dream catchers at flea markets. I was drowning, man. Until a lawyer called about my Greta and Clara's place in Cedar Ridge. Clara was a legend raised for kids alone after her husband died in Korea. Worked nights at a truck stop and still found time to knit blankets for every stray dog in town. Her house, this cozy corner lot in a 50-home subdivision, was my lifeline. But the lawyer mentioned she'd had issues with the HOA. I figured it was just old lady stufferong flowers, maybe a tacky lawn flamingo. Boy, was I naive. So there I am, August sun baking the asphalt, and Brenda circling my truck like a shark, snapping photos with a camera that probably cost more than my monthly rent back in New Mexico. "Commercial vehicles are prohibited, Mr. Caldwell," she says, pointing at the faded logo on my door, Albuquerque Property Group, for my old job, like it's a biohazard sign. And those rose bushes, unapproved landscaping. The mailbox, paint degradation. She's reading off these pre-printed forms with my name and fancy script, like she'd been planning this ambush since I crossed the state line. The fines totaled $2,300, and she's giving me 48 hours to pay or face a lien on my house. Neighbors are peeking from behind curtains, looking spooked, like they're watching a public execution. An old lady across the street yanks her blinds shut when Brenda glances her way. That's when I notice the fear in their eyes. This isn't just about me. This woman's been running Cedar Ridge like her personal fiefdom. I keep my cool, lean against my truck, and ask to see the HOA covenants and financials. You'd think I'd ask for her social security number. Confidential? She snaps, her smile tight as a drum. But when I mention I used to manage properties for a living, her eyes flicker like she's just realized she might have picked the wrong guy to bully. She storms off, promising enforcement actions, leaving me with a pile of fines and a gut feeling she's hiding something big. That night, I find a certified letter jammed in my door, upping the fines to $2,800 with administrative fees that appeared overnight. It's got photos of my property from every angle, like a crime scene report, and a threat to foreclose in 30 days. Brenda's not messing around. She's playing hardball, thinking I'll fold like everyone else. But she doesn't know me. 20 years in property management teaches you one thing. It's always check the fine print. So I head to the county recorder's office, a fluorescent-lit purgatory that smells like old paper and regret. Digging through records, I find gold. The original 1984 HOA covenants are basic keep your lawn mode. No neon house paint. Nothing about rose bushes or mailbox chips. Clara's property has grandfathered status, meaning those roses are untouchable. Even better, the HOA's financials are a mess. $45,000 for landscaping. Okay. When the lawns look like they're mowed by drunk goats. It's $900 a month for a pool that's greener than lime jello. The contracts all go to companies tied to Brenda's cousin or her boyfriend, Jason, who's rocking a fake security badge like he's starring in a low-budget cop show. This isn't just bad management, it's a straight-up grift. Then I meet Martha, a 79-year-old retired schoolteacher who's been watching from her porch like a hawk. She slides me a folder thick enough to stop a bullet, whispering, "You're stirring things up, David Good. Somebody's gotta." Martha has been tracking Brenda's reign of terror for years. 15 families hit with fines so brutal they sold their homes cheap, always to Brenda's real estate buddies. Old Mr. Jenkins got dinged for a non-compliant flagpole. The Martinez family was fined for their kid's sandbox. Martha's notes are meticulous, like she's been prepping for a courtroom showdown. Clara tried to fight her. She says, eyes misty. The stress, it's what took her out. That hits me hard. Clara's heart attack wasn't just bad luck. Brenda's harassment pushed her to the edge. Things escalate fast. Brenda files a city complaint about my abandoned truck. But the inspector takes one look and apologizes for the hassle, muttering about an anonymous tip with my exact address. Then the state licensing board calls, saying I'm running an unlicensed business from home. Another lie, squashed in 5 minutes. At 2 a.m., I hear gravel crunching. Brenda's SUV creeps by, and by morning, my mailbox is spray-painted with squiggles. And there's a pile of dog crap on my porch, placed like a Michelin star chef plating a dish. Good thing I'd installed cameras, got clear footage of Jason skulking around like a discount burglar. Brenda's playing dirty, but I'm building a case, and neighbors are starting to talk. There's Frank, a retired mechanic who rebuilt tanks in Vietnam. Tina, a paralegal mom who knows her way around legal filings. And Pastor Sarah, who got fined for excessive church parking. They're done hiding. Brenda calls an emergency HOA meeting with 24 hours notice, illegal under the bylaws, which requires 72. She's pushing to foreclose on my house. But only 3 board members show up, not enough for a quorum. She sets up her living room like a courtroom, sitting behind a desk that screams, "I'm important," and starts railing about my disruptive behavior. Martha stands up, voice steady as steel, and shuts her down. No quorum, no vote, this meeting's invalid. Brenda loses it, screaming that Martha is a nosy old bat, and I can't help but grin. That's when I drop my first bomb. Funny, I say, loud enough for the room to hear. The HOA budget claims $50,000 for landscaping, but the contractor got $12,000. Where's the rest? Brenda's face goes white, and Jason bolts like he's late for a parole hearing. Back home, Alina digs up dirt. The landscaping company belongs to Brenda's cousin, a kid who mows lawns part-time. The pool contract goes to Jason, who learned maintenance from YouTube. The legal fees, $18,000 a year, go to Brenda's old sorority sister, who's barely qualified to handle parking tickets. Every dollar's a scam, funneled to Brenda's inner circle. Then I find the real treasure in Clara's attic. A safe deposit key tucked in her recipe box next to her cornbread recipe. Inside the box is a letter from Clara, written weeks before she died. "David, if Brenda's coming for you, use this. She's been stealing from us all. Make her pay." There's 5 years of evidence recordings of Brenda bragging about creative accounting, forged signatures on rule changes, bank statements showing $450,000 siphoned off. The kicker, Clara's property has a small natural gas deposit. And Brenda's been pocketing $20,000 in royalties that should have gone to me. Now it's war. Brenda spreads lie, says I'm a gangbanger from Albuquerque, that I blackmailed Clara for the house. She files a police report claiming I threatened her, but Officer Davis, who's seen her playbook before, checks my cameras and laughs it off. "Document everything," he says. She's digging her own grave. She tries to intimidate my allies, finds Martha for her bird feeder, cites Elena's kids' bikes, even threatens Frank's veteran flag. When Martha's car window gets smashed, and Elena finds a creepy note on her porch, "Back off or you're next." We know Brenda's desperate. Her lawyer bails when the FBI starts sniffing around for mail fraud. Then she shows up at my door at midnight, offering $60,000 in cash to settle things. I'm wearing a wire, courtesy of Agent Miller from the FBI, and Brenda's spilling everything. I just borrowed some funds. Oh, David, these people need someone to run things. It's a confession wrapped in arrogance, and I've got it all on tape. The annual HOA meeting is like the Super Bowl of Cedar Ridge. By 7 a.m., 75 people cram into the community center, coffee thermoses in hand, local news cameras rolling. Sarah from the Cedar Ridge Gazette is scribbling like her pen's on fire. Channel 7's got a reporter itching for a scoop. Brenda struts in late, flanked by Jason and two cousins, looking like she's about to deliver a State of the Union address. She tries to take over, claiming I'm a threat to community values, but Martha shuts her down again. Quoting bylaws like a preacher with a Bible, I step up, heart pounding but steady, and start with Clara. My aunt fought for this neighborhood. I say, voice low. She died trying to stop a thief. The projector hums, showing charts of $450,000 in stolen funds, fake invoices, and Clara's recordings of Brenda calling us sheep who need herding. The crowd gasps. Old Mrs. Carter starts crying, remembering her own fines. When Brenda jumps up, yelling about forgeries and outsiders, I play the bribery tape. Her voice echoes. I was providing a service. The room explodes, neighbors shouting, some cheering, Jason looking like he wants to melt into the floor. Detective Hayes from the Financial Crimes Unit steps forward. Charges are pending. FBI's involved, and the state's filing civil penalties. Brenda's done. The vote's unanimous. She's out, along with her board. I'm named interim financial chair, and we hire a legit management company. Brenda's hauled off, still screaming about lawsuits, while Jason tries to calm her down like a zookeeper with a rabid tiger. 6 months later, she's sentenced to 5 years for embezzlement and fraud. Jason gets 2. We recover $320,000, enough to clean the pool, build a playground, and drop HOA fees to $90 a month. Clara's roses become a community garden with a plaque honoring her fight. I start Caldwell Property Solutions, helping other HOAs root out corruption, pulling in $1.8 million in recovered funds in year 1. Colorado passes a law mandating HOA audits, nicknamed Clara's Law by locals. Cedar Ridge's alive again, kids play without fear, neighbors barbecue, and Martha runs a community history project like a general. Standing in Clara's garden, watching fireflies dance, I feel her strength in me. She didn't just leave me a house, she left a mission to build something better. But here's the thing. Should I have taken Brenda's bribe and spared the fight, knowing it had cost her anyway? Or was dragging her down worth it for the neighborhood soul? Drop a comment. What would you do with a bully like Brenda? Got an HOA horror story? Share it, subscribe, hit the bell. Because at HOA Conflicts, we're serving up justice with a side of sweet payback. Next up, a single mom outsmarts a shady developer with nothing but her grandma's old ledger. Trust me, you won't want to miss it.